So, yesterday we did scene 2. Today, scene 3 is so short, it's only 5 verses, that we're just going to take all 11 verses of chapter 3. Which, I know you could maybe argue that 6 to 11 is its own scene. And that 4 down to the 5, or actually down to 5, 1 is another scene. So, But maybe we're taking on 2 scenes today then. By night on my bed, I sought the one I loved. So remember, the last scene, they were out and about together, enjoying being up. Arise, my love, my fair one, come away. And they went out on the day, and then it's nighttime, and it's time for her to go this way and him to go that way. He's going to go feed his flock amongst the lilies. You know, that's obviously where he lives. He feeds his flock somewhere over there. Remember back in chapter 1, verse 7, well, where do you feed your flocks? Over that way. And so she goes to bed. And so it says, but by night on my bed, I sought the one I love. I sought him, but I did not find him. I'll rise now, I said, and go about the city. In the streets and the squares, I'll seek the one I love. I sought him, but did not find him. The watchmen who go about the city found me. And I said, ooh, and I have an idea of maybe a new insight on this. Have you seen the one I love? Scarcely had I passed by them, when I found the one I love. I held him and would not let him go. Now, I'll pause right there. Perhaps, literally on the spot, I'm seeing a potential for more depth to our story. Once again, it's like we're watching a play, but we don't get all the details as we read Song of Solomon. But imagine this, the night before, right, was the day before the wedding. Chapter 2, the day before the wedding. They're out and about and she's so excited that, she says, well, until day breaks, until the shadows flee away, my beloved, you go do your thing and I'll be waiting for you. Tomorrow's the big day. And so then all night she's tossing and turning, and she's so excited that tomorrow's the day that she's going to get married. And it's also coincidentally, their wedding is going to coincide the same day as the royal wedding. It's kind of cool. Like, they're going to have their little, country humble wedding, but the word on the street is that Solomon, the king, is also getting married on the very same day. So she gets up and she wants to find her fiance. She wants to find her betrothed. And so she's looking around and she's asking the watchman, have you seen him? And then she finds him in verse 4. Now, the second half of verse 4, I don't want to be liberal, and I don't mean that in a conservative liberal way, but I just don't want to be free about translating the Bible differently than many scholars who are an awful lot smarter than me have translated it. But I briefly mentioned this before, that one thing I've learned about Hebrew in translation is that tenses are implied. Meaning, it's not like Greek where this is future tense, this is past tense, cut and dry. In Hebrew, they just don't have that. It's literally just implied, like, well, it makes the most sense that this is speaking in the past, or it makes the most sense. But that means that people can get it wrong, and even traditionally, like as in once someone maybe misinterpreted it, it could be traditionally wrong the whole way. I don't think what I'm proposing is going to do any dramatic doctrinal changes to the church or anything like that. But so in verse 4, it says, until I had brought him into my house of my mother, into the chamber of her who conceived me. What I think that verse 4 is saying, though, is that she's looking for him. It's their wedding day. And when I found the one I love, I held him and would not let him go. So there's like a would not looking forward. I'm not going to let him go until I had brought. I think it would be better to say until I do bring. Until I bring him to the house of my mother, to the chamber of her who conceived me. And so you're going to find, as I don't know, awkward as it may seem to some of us Westerners in the 21st century, you'll find that Isaac, when he gets his bride, he takes him to his mother's tent. And so kind of the idea being is like, that the wedding tent, the bridal chamber is passed down, I guess, like from mother to daughter is kind of the idea. This is the most luxurious bed on the property. This is the nicest room in the house, kind of a thing. And so that's the idea of she's finally found him. It's the morning of their wedding day, and she's like, I'm not letting go of you until we get to go to the bridal chamber. And then she says, I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or by the does of the field, do not stir up nor awaken love until it pleases. So once again, there's this, warning to single people to flee youthful lusts, to flee sexual immorality, to not put yourself in a position where you could be tempted and given to those temptations. So they're trying to do it right. So she's found him. But then, verse 6, who is this who's coming out of the wilderness? That's funny. Wasn't expecting anyone else to be showing up this day. Like pillars of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all the merchants' fragrant powders. So it's talking about incense, like going up like pillars of smoke. Like, whoa, that's not normal. That's quite the show. Oh, behold, verse 7, it's Solomon's couch. And the idea of this couch is like the one you carry, right? They have the little throne, and the guys carry the throne. So Solomon's bed or couch that's being carried that way. It's like, it's the king with 60 valiant men around it of the valiant of Israel. They'll hold swords, being experts of war. Every man has his sword in his thigh because of fear in the might. So the idea there is that here is Solomon's, the entourage, right? Oh, I think that's not what I was looking for, but there's the guard, and here's the royal carry thing. I mean, it's a carriage, but it's not like a carriage like we think with wheels, right? And so, wow, that's an unusual thing to find on this humble day where this country couple was going to get married. Of the wood of Lebanon, Solomon the king made himself a palanquin. He made its pillars of silver. What does my Bible say here? 9. A portable enclosed chair. So yeah, that's what we were just talking about, right? His couch, his portable enclosed chair. A room that is carried around. He made its pillars of silver, its support of gold, its seat of purple, its interior paved with love, by the daughters of Jerusalem. Go forth, O daughters of Zion, and see King Solomon with the crown, with which his mother crowned him on the day of his wedding, the day of the gladness of his heart. And so we're going to hold off on the next chapter. So again, maybe I don't have my end of scene 1, end of scene 3 all pinned down perfectly, because some of this does just kind of flow, but it's going to be a change of scenery. What happens? So I mentioned before that Song of Solomon is interpreted many different ways, and only here will you find the right one. Being silly, okay? I think I've got a great potential understanding, but it really is. People have always, and so some people think that she was in love with a shepherd and Solomon came and stole her away. I don't think so. I think Solomon fell in love with Abishag, the woman who used to keep daddy warm, the woman whom he killed his brother, had his brother executed because his brother wanted her. And he wanted true love. And so he dresses up as a shepherd. And he goes and pursues her to see if she'll fall in love, not with King Solomon, but with Shepherd Solomon. And they fall in love. And it's kind of funny because, well, where do you keep your sheep? Oh, over that way. and he keeps this ruse going this whole time. And they set a wedding day, and she goes, and here's the wedding day. And oh, how convenient that our wedding is the same day as King Solomon's wedding. And then she finds him in the morning, right? And again, this is not written down here, but I'm thinking somewhere between verse 11 and chapter 4, verse 1 is the palanquin, right? The enclosed, you know, the room on poles that people are carrying, right? Because they say it's an enclosed portable chair. It shows up, and there's pillars of smoke, incense looking like pillars to the sky, and there's all these valiant armor bearing soldiers with their dress uniform, right? And then they come, and she's still hanging on to her beloved because she's not letting go till the wedding night. And then they set the palace chair down, and everyone's excited to see the king. And they open it up, and it's empty. What could it be? Well, this is where the groom takes her by the hand and let's get in our chariot. And she's kind of like, we could get in trouble. And he goes, no, we won't get in trouble. It's okay. Come with me. And they go into the royal chariot and they get carried back to the palace where we will find chapter 4, the wedding night. So, cool book. Cool book. Philippians chapter 2. I have it almost memorized, but I'd rather just say it right. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who, being in the form of God, being fully God, did not consider it robbery to be equal with God, because this to be recognized. It wasn't robbery. I wasn't stealing anything. Jesus wasn't. When he allowed himself to be worshipped as God and even called God by his followers. No glory was being stolen because he was God. But made himself of no reputation, taking on the form of a bondservant and coming in the likeness of men. The King of Kings and Lord of Lords puts on the form, he puts on the show, and kind of comes looking like a regular man that no one would suspect. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross. And that's why God has exalted him, given the name above every other name. But so again, we see this idea, this picture of the bridegroom coming and pursuing his bride, putting down the crown to come and pursue his bride in the likeness of regular man. Man, I'm having fun teaching this. Truth be told, I think I'm going to probably cover this on a Sunday. Maybe when we finish John, maybe we'll have time to do Song of Solomon on a Sunday. So, beautiful book. Beautiful book. The wedding night tomorrow, chapter 4 of Song of Solomon, we will be taking a look at. I'll try and keep it, PG or PG-13, for those watching online. But it really is. It gets right to the nitty-gritty of the wedding night. So you guys have a great day. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 6:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. God bless.